on the channel, we're back at it with another triple shot of Major Bendy's Big Rubber Guys. This time, we got the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and we got the Powers of Pain.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Major Bendy's Big Rubber Guys unboxing and review. And today on the channel we got the Powers of Pain, and we got the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. But for all your Big Rubber Guy needs, MajorBendies.com. That's the place to go. There's other retailers that are selling these, but that is the place. That's where you go and get your pre-orders in. Currently, right now, as I'm filming this, there's a new pre-order with Bad News Brown, Bad News Allen, and of course the Rock and Roll Express, another great tag team that's really itching for a Big Rubber Guy. Those are up for pre-order right now. Speak now or forever hold your peace, as one may say as well. But one may also say how we're going to do this unboxing and review. Of course, we're going to do it like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And I guess we'll start with Dusty first, then work our way into the Powers of Pain. Very cool to get Dusty Rhodes, and that was one of the things the Major Bendy's team said way back when, is they want to get some counterparts to the old LJN WWF era, some guys and maybe some gals that were in NWA at the time. Now, we've seen Magnum TA, now we're seeing Dusty Rhodes. That's a pretty good tag team you can put on your shelf together as well. But Dusty, definitely of that era, definitely warrants a Big Rubber Guy, and I guess they had to go a little bit through the Dusty Rhodes Foundation to make this one happen. However they had to go around to make it happen, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we got a Dusty Rhodes Big Rubber Guy. Would love to see a repaint of this one to match, of course, the Road Warriors that should be here shortly, hopefully. I would love to see one to match that with the face paint. Doesn't sound like that's possible. I think they were a one and done on Dusty, unfortunately. But man, that would have been really cool to put with that Road Warriors that we're going to get hopefully sooner rather than later. But there it is, old Dusty Rhodes. Major Bendy's Big Rubber Guys, Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, little glamour shot down there. Dusty Rhodes Foundation, as we see on the package here. Major Bendy's present. Cross-sell on the back, UPC, jibber-jabber, all that kind of stuff. No bio card or anything like that. Would have been cool to see a bio card on these. Just like the old LJNs of old. Apparently not in the game for that one there, I guess. But we're going to pull this out. Oh, man. I got broken plastic on these. I have noticed this on a few of the Big Rubber Guys. The plastic is pretty brittle inside of here. A little stronger plastic would be nice, but I know it'll add some cost probably to the whole thing. But I do save my packaging on the Big Rubber Guys. So want that as nice as I possibly can, of course. Just like a young Dusty Rhodes. But here it is, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. An interesting one, and definitely the head sculpt definitely looks like Dusty Rhodes. He's got that tongue there, got the teeth going on, two eyes, 2 ears, a nose, and a mouth playing those human hits. Got that blonde, dusty hair looking pretty good. It does look like we got some blade scars in there. Very, very faint blade scars, but I'm happy they added that. That's the extra attention to detail that I love to see on things like that, so looking very good. All day long, Dusty Rhodes in the head sculpt department. Got 2 fists of Dusty Rhodes Fury over here. Got some tape on those fists, tape on the wrist as well. Got the black and green elbow pad. He's ready to hit you with the old Dusty elbow. You got DR on the trunks here, black trunks for Dusty Rhodes. Then he's got those cowboy boots. They do say Rhodes down the side. Red knee pads as well. Matching up with Magnum TA really well with the boots down here. So that is pretty cool to see as well. Got that birthmark for Dusty. Very iconic, of course. This is the most iconic birthmark of all time. Very well could be. Very well could be. Obviously, no articulation on any of these guys. They are Big Rubber Guys, as we know. And one thing I always like to talk about with these figures is how good would they be if I was little Kyle sitting on the floor playing with my LJNs, playing with the ring. Would this Dusty be a good player out there? Because you got classic guys. I always bring up the example, Rick Rude, Ravishing Rick Rude, a favorite of mine from the 80s. Glorious matches with the Ultimate Warrior. Wanted to recreate those. Just couldn't do it. Rick Rude, there was not enough playability there for me. But this is okay. You can do some suplexes, some punches, some elbows, some clotheslines. Would have liked to seen the arms up maybe just a hair higher, but it's not the end of the world. And let's be honest, I'm not playing with these anymore. Or am I? Or am I? Maybe I am. Who knows? But it is a very, very good Dusty. I do like the looks of this Dusty as a whole. This is what I could imagine an LJN would have looked like. LJN probably would have been more polka dot, of course, as we know as well. It didn't quite line up, but close. But Dusty looking good there. He does stand on his own. Happy to see that. Big Rubber Guys 2024 on the bottom of the feet. Just a good looking Dusty. And I did mention Magnum TA. Very similar but different boots on the two here. Similar but different, of course, but you can have these guys back. It's like the NWA running wild once again with old Magnum and Dusty back together. Hey, we're here for that, of course. And speaking of Big Rubber Guys, LJNs, whatever you want to call them, how about a little Jazzwares version? Now you got Cody and Dusty, Big Rubber Guys LJN style. How about that? So you can get these guys together once again. Sounds like the AEW team over at Jazzwares is probably not making these ones anymore. I don't know how to think about that. Part of me likes it. It feels different. I am nostalgic to it. But some of them are a little bit better than others, as we've seen. But you can say that about most lines as well. But it is cool to get Cody and Dusty, I guess, Big Rubber Guy style together right here today. So Magnum, Dusty, Cody riding again. But now we got to ride into one of the great tag teams of all time. And I know a lot of people not, of course, Power of Pain fans. They say they're LOD ripoffs and stuff. And there's some truth to that. But man, Warlord, Barbarian, and Mr. Fuji back in the day had a special place in my heart. And I'll have to remember, I forgot about Mr. Fuji. I'll have to get him for the glamour shots with these, of course. But loved Warlord and Barbarian, and we've made it known on the channel many a times. Warlord, my dad's favorite wrestler of all time. He even sat in on a Warlord top 5 on this very YouTube channel. We might have to redo that one now. We'll see what happens. But I need to get my dad one of these. My dad's ridiculous. He doesn't have this in his collection already. He should have unboxed it and started a channel based on this Warlord figure. But very cool to get Warlord and Barbarian. We never got Barbarian back in the day. Of course, we did get Warlord. Very hard to find, very valuable figure. We'll compare that in a little bit right here. But very cool to get the Powers of Pain as we're getting some really classic tag teams in the style of these figures here. But there it is, old Warlord on the front. Flexing that pose right there. Same packaging, all the kind of stuff we expect from the Big Rubber Guys at this point. But it is the Warlord, of course. On the back, same backing here, even down to the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. So it looks like they're just reusing the backing across. They had to make it specifically for Dusty and said, hey, we'll save a couple of pennies. We'll make it for all of them on here as well. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. But I'm going to slide this out. Of course, resealable packaging on these, as I have mentioned before. Pull that out. No cracks or tears in the bubble on this one this time. I'm going to put Warlord off to the side. Now we're going to get down to Warlord business. Prepare for war. An old Warlord looking beautiful. Beautiful. I'm here for it. He's also looking brutal as well. Brutal and beautiful. It's the Wear of Pain, and of course there was a lot of talk about this one when it first came out. A lot of people saying, why does it say Wear of Pain when not Powers of Pain? They always had those covered up, which was kind of strange, but they have that, and there's a lot of shots of it as well, so that's why you got that there. It does say Warlord on the side over here. You got that little arm strap over here looking good, and then you got the Road Warrior style, I guess, haircut there. I mean, that's why a lot of people, the face paint, the hairdos, makes them seem similar. But man, Warlord, given that big old flex right here, on a playability scale, be pretty good. You can do some bear hugs, some power slams, a pile driver. There's a few things you could do. And Warlord would carry things for me because you guys know, sucker for face paint. I'd be all in on a face painted wrestler back in the day. But jacked up body, Warlord, one of the most big dudes that were ever squared, or ever set foot in a squared circle. How about? Looking very nice. Got that big, bushy, of course, beard on him. Some beautiful teeth. That dental coverage back in the 80s looking really good. Face paint, so iconic. And then you got the orange and black Halloween hair going on. Once again, just like Dusty, 2 Fists of Fury here. Black boots down below. Big Rubber Guys, Major Bendies, all of that down there. Looking good. He also stands up just fine on his own as well. Very happy to that. Nothing worse than an LGN that won't stand up, let me tell you that. But I do got the Warlord from back in the day. Like I said, a hard to find one, a valuable one. A lot of people not liking this Warlord back in the day. I never had one issue with it. Not one. He was, of course, in trunks here instead of the long tights. Didn't bother me at all. I absolutely loved this Warlord figure. Had a lot of time playing with this one as a kid. Very, very fun for me. Very fun all these years later. And very cool to get an updated version of the Warlord. I mean, they look like 2 totally different toy lines, which they are, but they still got that rubbery, big rubber guy feel, I guess, is what we have here. But different paint colors here. A little darker hot dog tan on this one. A little bit more blood pressure, sky-high niacin going on over here on this one. But man, still very cool all these years later to get a new Powers of Pain Warlord from the Big Rubber guys. You know I'm here for that, no doubt about it. And we're going to finish it off with the big mighty Barbarian, of course, another member of the Powers of Pain. Looking very, very good. Of course, love a good tag team Barbarian down here. Back, same thing we've seen with the other one, so we don't really need to run through that either. And we're going to get the old Barbarian out of the package. And Barbarian, just such a shame we didn't get him back in the LJN days. Just like Smash back in the day. Wish we would have got him. Just unfortunate times. Just missing it by that much. And that's why it's so important all these years later. I always say it. Always put a tag team together in the same series. Don't split them up. You never know what might end up happening. And like it happened back in the LJN days. But man, old Barb looking good. Flexing that double buy. Looking nice. And all three of these guys got Fist of Fury. How about that? Black wrist tape over here. Got that armband as well. Opposite arm of the Warlord. Looking very good there. With a Wear of Pain once again. And then you do got Barbarian down the side on this one. Looking good. A little bit more tanner, a little bit more hot doggy on this one. I guess that's also that Islander skin tone, that beautiful sun-kissed skin tone on him here. Jacked up just like the Warlord, as you can imagine. Black tights, black boots down below. Got the buckles on the boots here to make it a little bit different. But man, oh man, two beasts just ready to go, ready to take on the world. I'm here for that. And Dusty, you want a piece of us? Absolutely not. Dusty says, I don't want a piece of the Powers of Pain. Of course, Powers of Pain back in the NWA WCW days didn't want to be involved in those scaffold matches. I wouldn't either. They're dangerous. But man, they captured the imagination of a young Kyle. I'll never forget seeing the Night of the Skywalkers. Changed my life forever. I thought that was the most crazy thing I'd ever seen. Never heard of it, anything. That was my introduction to the NWA via VHS tape at my local VHS thing. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing on that Jim Cornette falling off there. I wish there was somebody taking big dives off the top. Obviously, they weren't doing that too much back in the day, but it was quite the memorable experience for me when I was a kid, which has carried on my wrestling love to this day, really, at the end of the day. But man, oh man, very cool. Anytime we get these Big Rubber guys here, I'm very biased. First wrestling figures I ever had were LJNs, so they're playing all the nostalgia hits for me, giving me the legends, giving me the characters I always wanted in this line. So a lot of fun to have on this one. You know how we do here on the channel. But the Powers of Pain, Dusty Rhodes, 2, 3, 4, 7 thumbs up. If I had 7 of them, I'd put them all up here. Can't wait for the Road Warriors. Hopefully those are next. Stay tuned for that when that day does come. But what are your thoughts on Dusty Rhodes and the Powers of Pain? You pick these up? Long game, no game, not so sure game? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon, including early access to all the videos on this YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, glamour shots, Q&As, giveaways, dog stuff, pizza stuff. It's all going down on the Patreon. A lot of content over there every single day. And we're in best of mode here. You're going to have a lot of the best of year-end list over there. And maybe an action figure tour that'll be exclusive for a while on Patreon. So check it out. Support the channel. All the fun stuff that goes along with it there. Of course, don't forget ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. My book, The Complete Guide to the WWE Jakks Classic Superstars Series. Pick it up over at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or now on Kindle. Appreciate the support there. Sir Paul64 on the X. _Kyle_Peterson on Threads. And on Instagram. So for the Powers of Pain, Dusty Rhodes, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.